Hello everybody, my name is Richard Vigorelli and this is Vigorelli Institute. Now, normally I do infotainment on this channel, but well, we're going to have us some fun, okay? Because of everything that's been going on as far as the world is concerned with entertainment, I want to dive into some of my other skills, which is why I built my channel the way that I did. It allows me to do this. I'm a storyteller. Okay, I'm a writer. I'm going to tell you guys a story. Okay? It takes place a very, very long time ago. Okay? It takes place when the world was young. And, well, things hadn't quite been made out yet. Okay? A lot of the stuff that we know of today hadn't even been thought of. It takes place in a time when the ancient gods walked among us. Okay? Now, many of you have probably heard this story before. Now, it's that old. It's been told and retold so many times that it's difficult to know where the real one is. But I've got it right here for you. Okay? Now you may have heard this from a movie. It was about some lions. You may have heard it about a guy in Denmark who gets rid of a troublesome advisor who thinks he's a king. Okay? That'll be Hamlet, by the way, recommended. See, this story is about a king. Okay? Well, we got a lot of groundwork to lay. Okay? You see, way back when, the only thing that existed was chaos. Okay? And then a god, a god, yes, named Shu came forward, rose up the land from out of this chaos. See, the chaos was water. Okay? And in it swam all the things that could and might be. Okay? But Shu made the first land. He sat upon this and said, I like this. So he lifted up his wife from this land. She became Nut, Lady of the Sky. And they came together and created the bounty of the world. His name was Geb. Okay. Well, Geb came forward and created his children. Okay. Those were, as you would know them, Osiris, Isis, Setesh, and Nephthys. Okay. Among others. Those were the big ones. So, as Shu grew the land and things became ever more orderly, dominions were given unto his children. Well, Cyrus was given the land by the river, where a new little species had popped up thanks to something that a certain bird-headed god named Ra did out in the river. We don't need to go into that one. That's a story for another day. And to his brother Setesh, he gave the land outside because there was other things out there. They were chaos, but not the same kind of chaos as the water. They were coming from it. They were different. So in order to keep the land of the river, that river being the Nile, safe, he needed protection. He needed someone strong. So he put Setesh out there. Osiris and Setesh were happy. Okay? Nephthys was given the job of keeping Setesh safe. See, she was given these big, beautiful wings that she could wrap around anyone that she wanted to keep safe. And no harm would come to them. Well, all of the battles and wars that they fought that no one would ever hear of, They fell in love and were married. Well, Isis was relegated with Osiris. She was given the task of helping him to govern. And they fell in love and were married. Well, the kingdom flourished. Everyone was happy. Okay? The Nile routinely brought forth glorious bounties of fish. Its silt would wash up on the shore every single year like clockwork. The people could farm. There was plenty of food. Nobody wanted for anything. Of course, there were dangers every so often, but nothing that the gods couldn't handle. Every now and again, an attempted invasion would come, and Setish would push it back, and the people were grateful. But eventually, it changed. They forgot about him. Well, he was out in the desert all day. Hardly ever came into civilization because the trouble was that severe. He needed to keep an open eye. So, he stayed out there. Nephthys, saying that he had largely contained the situation, returned to civilization in order to place her wings around all of the people so that they would know, so that if he failed, if Setish failed, everything would be fine. Okay? She became the last line of defense. Well, Setish grew lonely. And Osiris sensed this. So he said, you know what we need to do? We need to have a party. Yes, we do. So he sent a messenger out to Setish, found him, and said, your brother summons you for a party. He wants to say thank you for all that you have done. Feel free to bring something. So the messenger leaves, and Setish says, so now he does, huh? Been out here sweating to death, getting shot at. We need to have a chat. So he comes up with a plan. To show Osiris that he was more than just a dog. That he was more than just some blade out there in the desert. For Setish had become resentful. And he wanted them to know he was valuable. Well, he makes a box. This box is magical. So that only the one who fits perfectly within it will not be able to get out of it unless pulled by the one who made the box. Okay? Of course, he made this for Osiris because he wanted Osiris to see, to understand what was needed. Well, comes back, so he comes into civilization, and Osiris greets him warmly. He says, my brother, it's wonderful to see you again. I have missed you dearly. He says, of course, brother. I have also missed you dearly. It's amazing how lonely it gets out there in the desert, keeping you safe while you live in peace. My brother, I understand. Join us. You can resume your duties later. You've beaten back everything. We have plenty of time. You'll be fine. Come in. Drink my wine. Eat my food, please. It'll be some of the best you've ever had. And you have earned it, my brother. So, other gods are in attendance. All that you would know. Ra, for instance. Shu, Geb, Nut, even Bast, so many others you may never even know the names of. Okay? They were drinking and partying and dancing, Jokes were told, stories were swapped, there was laughter. But you see, Satash, being relegated to the desert, had long lost his taste for civility and for merriment. His life was duty. So, he took one last drink of his wine, set down the cup, and says, "Everyone, I propose a game. After all, this is a party, isn't it? I have brought this special box. It is a party favor. I'm going to open it up. Excuse me. The one who is able to sit in this box and have it fit perfectly around them shall become its master." Naturally, everybody was eager to try it. So, pointed to one of the minor gods and says, "Please, you first. Take your time. I want everyone to have a turn. That's only fair. So we'll start with the least of us." It's a small goddess. She comes over and lays down in the box. She does not perfectly fit. She's able to sit up easily and moves on to the next one. A god this time. Some river god. His name is important. And he also does not fit. Well, deity after deity lies down in the box. Even Isis and Nephthys. They do not fit. There's only one god left. Osiris. So Satash says, "My dear brother, the host of this festivities, why don't you take your turn?" He says, "Very well, I shall. I am the king and the greatest of all." So he lies down in the box, wraps his arms like so, and he cannot move. He demands to be released. He says, "My brother, you are the master of the box now. Know your place." So he slams the box shut, hammers the nails in. The other gods realize what is happening. The king is being kidnapped. They rise up to meet Satash. He spins around with his blade drawn and says, "Take one step and you are dead." They back away. He heaves the box onto his shoulders and leaves the room. He takes it all the way out to Osiris's beloved river. Opens the box, grabs Osiris by there and says, "I take you to what you value most, and I leave you here in pieces." Draws his blade and hacks at Osiris. Cuts him into pieces, 14 of them to be specific. He takes those pieces and throws them all about the land, miles and miles apart. After all, he is a god, and he knows where to hide everything. Well, he leaves his heart on the riverbank. Well, the other gods had chased after, and they arrived just in time to see the last piece dropped on the riverbank. Isis wails in pain. Nephthys comforts her. He turns around and says, "I am now king. Bow before me or meet the same fate." All of the gods bow. Isis had crumpled to her knees, so technically she was kneeling. Nephthys comforted her. She placed her wings around her and allowed her dear sister to cry. Well, after Satash left, took the other gods with him so that they may revel in his glory. Isis, face soaked in tears, made the Nile wider, flood. Picked up her husband's heart, said, "What can I do?" Thoth appeared. Said, "There's a way, but we must act quickly. I know where he threw the pieces. I can help you get them. But we must Go. Now. And Nepta says, I will help. He is my husband no longer. I'm with you. So, take off. And eventually they find all the pieces. It doesn't take long. They're able to travel very quickly. Well, because they were damaged, not connecting anymore, they had to bind them a lot of cuts. So they wrap him in linen. Unfortunately, the decay had set in. His skin had turned green. They didn't have much time to revive him. Unfortunately, they were a piece short. His masculine side, if you will, was missing. Isis saw it sitting miraculously on the riverbank, not far from their position. How could she have missed it? Well, she ran over to it, just in time for a carp from the river to snatch it up, thinking it was a worm. You see, the carp is allied with Satash. And Satash would have told these fish, under no circumstances does Osiris revive. If he doesn't have all his pieces, there's nothing left. In her grief, Isis reached into the clay of the river, pulled out enough of it, and fashioned a new piece for her husband. She ran over, placed it on his body, and said to Thoth, we begin now. They reached out their hands and they spoke the words of healing and regeneration and revival on to Osiris's body. And he took in a breath. Thoth said, my lady, you must hurry. The succession must be secured. We haven't much time. So, Isis then lay with her husband one last time. And their union produced an heir. We'll pick that up later. If you're new to the channel, hit that big red subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, and if you like what I do, please feel free to visit the websites in the description. They are vimandvigorelli.com and vigintmed.com. I have merchandise and books available. Also, feel free to join. I recently started memberships. I'll be back later, guys. Bye-bye.